Hello guys. Well, it is time for our weekly garden tour, and as some of you may have experienced this, our weather went from being a beautiful 80 degrees to 37. So let's just say I had just scrambled to try to get things to cover my plants. It reached about 36 here. Yay. As you can tell, we went from shorts and t-shirt weather to long sleeves and pants. I'm done with this weather. But yeah, let's come on and help me uncover everything, and we'll see how everything did. So let's go. Well, as I started uncovering, looks like everything survived. And we even still have some blooms on our beautiful little tomatoes. Tomatoes are starting to get tall. As you can tell, this one is quite tall. Thank goodness for this old tarp that should say a covering for one of the tents I have. It covered this entire bed and kept it nice and snug last night. I'm going to have to do the same thing tonight because there's still more cold weather coming. Hopefully tomorrow, since it's Mother's Day, this will be the last cold weather we have, because I am in 7B here in Tennessee, and we should have already had our last frost in April. And as you can hear, my neighbor is mowing, so I'm not sure how much you can hear me. But I want to show you our beans that survived. The Scarlet Runner beans, their flowers are just doing beautiful. I know, I still gotta take the tarp completely off. It'll be fine. It's just sitting on the top. It's not on any of the tomatoes. The tomatoes are fine. It's just sitting on the trellising right now, so it'll be okay. But I want to show you the flowers on the Scarlet Runner beans, and we're being snuck up on. Hold on. Well, hi, Rocco. You couldn't come sneak up and say hi to all of us? Huh? And this is my old dog. He's almost 12. He doesn't act it though. You still think he's a puppy. He got out a while back to the high school. Yes, I know. And the people who found him there thought he was a 2-year-old puppy. I said, no, he's almost 12. They said, you'd never know it with the way he acts or with the way his teeth look. I said, yeah, I know. He does not act like a puppy at all. Or does not act like he's an old guy, I should say. He acts like a puppy. There are days I forget how old he is just because of how he acts. But anyway, back to the beautiful beans. Look at these beautiful flowers. Look at that. It's just loaded with them. I'm just so excited. These Scarlet Runner beans are just gorgeous. I will definitely be growing these again. This is my first time growing them. And I just cannot wait. They are just beautiful right now. And it is a little windy here today. But pretty soon they will cover this trellis. Right now they're just kind of about halfway up this trellis here. But soon they'll come up to the top there. And on this side of the trellis, my netting is still on. I gotta uncover that netting later. I think I'm gonna leave it on, keep some of the bugs away for a little while. But this side of the trellis is gonna have some nest egg gourds, and then it's also going to have, let's see if I can remember what I've got in here. Oh, some sugar baby watermelons. And then there's going to be some apple gourds on here. So there's just a mixed variety of things. Then some honeydew melon. So I know I've got a few more plants on here that probably should be on this trellis with close proximity to each other. But I'm testing out how many plants this trellis will actively hold. And then loaf of gourds will be on this trellis here. It'll go up along with some of our, let's see here, Martin House gourds. And the Martin House gourds are almost ready to tie up onto this trellis. As you can see, the netting has decided to kind of blow off. I'm gonna have to tie it back on. I kind of used this last night as my protection from the cold. I know it's not doing very much, but it does a little bit anyway. Keeps some of the frost off. But yeah, these are all the zucchinis. They're getting humongous. I'll show you guys on the other side, since I know it's kind of funny looking at it through bars. But then I got Kajari melons down here, which I'm going to have to replant because the one plant, he's looking kind of sickly. I don't think he's doing very well. But see him down here? He looks kind of sad. So I'm going to have to retransplant and make another one. Grow another one, I should say. The only thing loving this cold weather is the peas. I mean, my snap pea trellis teepee is half loaded right now. Alright, so let's take this netting off here for a second. And let me show you the zucchini. This Black Beauty zucchini is getting ready to flower, and it's got a female on it along with a couple males. So we'll see which one decides to bloom first. And then over here, sorry for the shaky camera, guys, we have some of our yellow zucchini. Look at those. They have not bloomed yet, but there's a lot of females on there. I'm hoping they all survive, because that's one of about 7 plants. I know I planted them a little close to each other this year, but they're doing beautifully for being so close. And then look, our pea teepee has exploded. We have lots of peas on here, and I'm sorry for the harsh light. The sun has come out with a vengeance, but it's warming it up beautifully. And then our rose plant that we thought was dead has come back beautifully. And then as you can see, most of my tomatoes that I've had to cover, which I'm getting ready to uncover all of them. And then as you can see, some of them didn't quite get covered. But hopefully they all did well in the craziness. Yeah, looks pretty good for being popped out of there. Don't worry, I'm not going to uncover it. I just covered it for a second so I could talk to you guys. But look at my sunflowers. They're starting to come up beautifully. I know, we're just kind of going all over the garden today. My elderberry is doing beautifully. And then, I noticed this the other day. Look at all these tomatoes. I don't know where these tomatoes came from, but there's an entire bushel of them that is just underneath my elderberry. I'm going to have to dig these out and transplant them because they don't need to be next to my elderberry. But the elderberry is looking beautiful. That's one of 3 plants I have of elderberries. That one is over here by itself. The apple trees, I don't think we're going to have any apples this year. We had flowers and what looked like the start of apples, and then they've all kind of disappeared. So I'm thinking they didn't get pollinated. And this apple tree really needs a haircut. That's going to have to wait till fall, but it definitely needs a haircut. The bottom of it needs to be trimmed out. I need to prune it. And I'm wondering if I need to graft it because it is not producing apples anymore. It produced the second year, and this is year 5. It got buried for a couple years, for 2 years in weeds. So that may have stunted it. But we'll see. And then more tomatoes over here. And then coming on to our more elderberry. Here's our 2 other elderberry. And then that is butternut squash. I know there's like, I think 7 plants there. They're not all going to probably do very well sitting that close together, but they'll start vining it. I'll be able to move their vines probably out this direction, hopefully. And these 3 here are plum. I got them from the 100 Tree Day last year, so I don't know if they're fruit-bearing plum or if they're just the oriental plum, so we'll find that out soon. And then our blueberries, and yes, one of them is dead. This was our big blueberry bush. It's probably a good, I'd say almost 10 years old, and I don't think it's going to come back. I'm going to give it this season, and if it doesn't sprout any new shoots, I'm just going to dig it up and get a new one. We've got 2 others, but I'd really like to have another 1 or 2 in this area. But they're both got blueberries on them. This one, I don't know if you guys can see it in this light, but it's got blueberries here, and then this one over here has little teeny tiny blueberries on it. Not much for us to put away this year, but at least it'll be enough to kind of snack on. Since this is the first year, those 2 have really produced for us. And then our pumpkins, our funny pumpkin plants that grew in the middle of the yard, because that's the front yard. So that's going to be fun. Letting those kind of grow all over. Excuse the mess here, guys. It's cleanup time in all this area. But then our greenhouse is down there, and as you can hear, they're mowing again. Alright, so let's go in the greenhouse and show you guys our tomatoes. For those who have been on our Instagram and Facebook, you've probably already seen tomatoes, but let's show you guys. Wrong direction. Alright, so this tomato plant, for most of you who know, overwintered here in this greenhouse. This is an unheated greenhouse, so it essentially would be more like a high tunnel because there is no heat or air in here. The only way to vent it is to open the back door back here and the front door up here. Spin you guys around there like that. There we go. That's the only ventilation in this greenhouse. It was completely built out of salvaged materials. The bottom walls are pallets, and then the side walls are scraps of lumber that I had. The only thing I bought was the PVC pipe that you see up here, and then the plastic to go on. This is the second set of plastic that I've had. The first set of plastic I had didn't quite get the right kind, so it only lasted me about 2 years. So this set of plastic should last me another good 3 years. It's been on a year already. But there is bubble wrap on it from the winter to help insulate a little bit. It worked a little bit. Bubble wrap is pretty cool. And then all these posters on the bottom here are from work that I got. If you notice, if anybody has seen this, you know exactly where I work. And then this one is probably a little easier for some people to really understand. Yeah, I work there. If you know the Bio Blitz, you know exactly where I work. And then this one will really kind of get you. Where is it? Right there. And you can really see where I work because the name's right there. But anyway, let me show you guys our tomato. I'm done rambling. Sorry guys, I know. Sometimes you just gotta ramble. And yes, I did get a haircut. Finally, 72 days I think it was since my hair got cut. But yeah, once you cut your hair short, it grows like crazy sometimes, and mine within 4 weeks I'd have to go get a haircut, and so 72 days was enough. It was down to my shoulders and just driving me crazy. But yeah, now it's finally where it's supposed to be. But yeah, let's get you guys those tomatoes since I've rambled on for, what, 2 minutes here? Sorry, guys. So what you've completely waited to see was our tomatoes. For those who are on the, of course, Instagram page with me at Pinky BGG, you've already seen this. But here are the tomatoes that overwintered. There are 1, 2, 3, 4. These 2 little guys, I don't know how much they're going to grow. And I honestly don't even know what variety this is. Because this is one that kind of just popped up in the yard. I think either this is one of the yard ones or the one that was in my hydroponic system that I just kind of clipped and threw in here. I honestly thought it was dead. But the main stem line is pretty much dead. All of these are suckers that came off of that main line. So we have one sucker here that came off the main line, and then another sucker here that came off the main line. And that sucker's got flowers on it, and then this sucker already has the tomatoes. So we'll see a variety. From looking at them right now, it looks like they might be a saladette size. Just from the size that they're growing right now, they're still small. They're definitely not a cherry because they're bigger than a cherry. I'd say they're probably a saladette size tomato. So we'll see what becomes of them. Hopefully, maybe next week or the week after, we'll be able to pick them. But these are my first tomatoes of the season that are in here. I don't have any tomatoes on out there yet, but I do have flowers on a couple of the plants that have been planted in the garden since March. Yes, I know a lot of my plants were in the ground March. I think the second to last week of March. I know I planted them early, but our last frost date was like the second week in April, so I kind of took a chance because it was so warm. It's been so warm, but now it's gotten colder. As you can tell, some of these tomatoes that are in here, they really need to go in the ground. These are just not happy tomatoes. Look at them. They are not happy tomatoes at all. They are very sad looking right now. They so need to be in the ground and get some nutrients because they are just not happy tomatoes. They are very sad tomatoes. And there's more sad tomatoes over here, and then my eggplants, which I was kind of hoping to plant this weekend, but now it's gonna have to wait till next weekend. And then we've got all of our peppers up here, which are just waiting to plant. One set of those peppers are going to my neighbor because they're hot peppers. And then these small little peppers that I started later just because I wasn't sure if the other ones were living. And these are all the bell peppers, while these ones up here are sweet peppers. So, sorry guys, I know that was a big jump there. But these are going to have to go in the ground soon. And then my lonely Swiss chard plant. I kind of forgot about him. He was on the bottom shelf and I found him the other day and I was like, oh, I have Swiss chard. Who knew? But anyway, at least now I'll be able to eat some Swiss chard. I'll have to pull some of these off, make a salad. And then the hydroponics, this is getting ready to get a makeover. I'm going to be experimenting with something, so that'll be on the next video to show you guys. Be taking this apart. Not completely. I'll be essentially draining it, and then I'll show you what I'll be doing on that next video. But that's a little tease for that. And see more tomatoes. I know. I started tomatoes to sell, and I've got, because of everything that happened, I wasn't really able to sell very many of them. I started with 308. I sold a few, gave a few away to neighbors, and then a neighbor bought some. And I still got, oh my goodness, there's 145 of them in the ground right now. Yes, 145. Most of these are cherry tomatoes, and then slicers, or not slicers, they're saucing tomatoes, so I'll be making a lot of sauce. I'll probably end up taking a lot of these and either making baskets to sell or calling the local food bank around here and seeing what fresh produce they'll take, because I've got two places around me that I know will take fresh produce, but with the pandemic I'm not sure what their regulations are going to be on being able to take it, so that's going to be a fun figuring that out. But yeah, I'm going to have lots of fun once I start being in production. I'm going to be cleaning out a freezer, and I'm hoping not to have to buy another freezer, because if I get as many tomatoes as I think I am, I'm probably going to end up having to get a second freezer just to hold a lot of this produce while I wait. Sorry guys. But yeah, that's the greenhouse, or high tunnel as some would call it, since it's not heated and it's a mess right now. Because I've been taking stuff out and there's pots everywhere from trying to hurry and grab pots to protect all the plants, which there was still about 20 to 25 tomatoes that didn't get covered last night. Luckily, most of the ones in the beds I was able to cover, and then some of the ones along the fence line I got to cover, but there's still another entire row by another fence line that didn't get covered because there was just no way I didn't have enough pots or enough blankets or enough tarps. But they'll be okay. We have one more freeze tonight, and hopefully that'll be it for the season. But let me show you guys the other section of the garden, and then it'll be time to sign off. Alright, so here comes our other section of the garden. This section has the cucumber trellis in it for my nephews. They really love this section. And that building right there is a workshop. I haven't taken you guys in there yet. Maybe in the next video I'll show you that, because we're actually getting ready to build a garden bed by the porch, so I can put some of the flowers and some sunflowers there. So maybe I'll show you that on our next one. But anyway, I've rambled a lot today. Sorry guys. But let me show you what's growing in here, how big everything's gotten, and let's go. Alright, so these tomatoes are in here, kind of stuck in there. And then all of these are cucumbers. I know there's way too many in here. My nephews had fun planting. We'll see which ones kind of come up, are the strongest, and then I may have to filter them out. The onions are looking beautiful. More snap peas. They're slowly starting to come on. We've had a couple out of there. I know, I forgot to uncover the tomato. And if you notice, the potatoes back here are just incredibly beautiful. They are, yep, that one got a little nipped last night from the cold. But yeah, they're doing beautiful in here. They've been mounded up a couple times. I probably should have mounded it up again. But that's okay. And then the boys' garden bed, well, all their mystery tomatoes from the compost bin. We still haven't weeded them out, and I think they may just keep them in there. We'll see. This is the tomato that they planted. This is a Tesla Currant. So this will have those really teeny tiny tomatoes on it. They are very excited to try these. My one nephew is a tomatoholic, so he will be very excited to pick his own tomatoes on here. Then we have a second Tesla Currant, and then a cucumber, which I think they've got 3 here that have lived. So we'll see. Looks like 2 are really strong. The third one I may have to pluck him out. He doesn't look like he's doing very well. But then we have the carrots, which is my other nephew's favorite to pick right now. He is obsessed with grabbing carrots and eating them. These poor tomatoes I covered them last night, but they're not very happy with me. I used this sheet, but I think I'm gonna try to grab a couple of the other pots and switch it out with another one, because they did not like being covered with that sheet last night. The kale's loving this cool weather though. The kale's looking beautiful. I gotta start picking again. Looks like I'm gonna have to have a salad for lunch. And yes, I eat kale and salads. I've not tried juicing anything yet. And then there's more of the golden zucchini. And then I think that's it on here. And the broccoli is just starting to come out. May or may not get anything off of that. Broccoli does not like me. I do not know what I do to broccoli. Maybe it's just weather. But broccoli and me just do not get along. Can't grow it. It bolts, or it goes and gives me a little tiny head of broccoli and then it's gone. So, but anyway, thanks guys. That's the end of our garden tour, and hopefully soon this weather will change on us. It'll be beautiful again, and we can do harvesting videos. So thanks. And don't forget, if you haven't already, subscribe down below, hit the bell notification button, give me a like, thumbs up, thumbs down, I don't care, whatever you feel you need to give me. Comment below if you have any questions. If you have anything to tell me, feel free to comment. If you've got a suggestion, maybe I don't know, I'd love to hear it. Thanks guys.